Hey there, Marisa here from She Knows Crypto with this week's Crypto Cocktail Hour, a news roundup of the crypto events of the week. So, crypto news this week, kind of meh. We did see another dip in Bitcoin and a lot of the other cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, because of the Mt. Gox sell-off. So, for those of you that may recall or know about Mt. Gox, was a big hack in 2014 where 850,000 Bitcoins were stolen. And they still don't know who stole them or where they are, but there is a lot of restitution and debt that the company Mt. Gox needs to pay back. So what they did in this past week, all at once, which doesn't seem exactly smart to me, they sold off about $400 million worth of Bitcoin. So that increased the supply and is to blame for some of the drag in the Bitcoin price this week. In addition, the SEC is now requiring thinking of requiring cryptocurrency exchanges in the U.S. to register with them, which would be a very, very intensive process for companies that are registered in the U.S. and that want to sell cryptocurrency in the U.S. So that also created a little bit of negative hype for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. So a couple other highlights this week, stories that I think are important. They're not necessarily earth-shattering, but good things to know. The first one is about mining. There was a study that came out this week about mining cost. So mining, again, is those computers, those networks of computers that actually keep the blockchain ledger. So this study was about Bitcoin in particular. How much money does it cost to mine one Bitcoin? So in taking a look at this study, location is very, very important because the major cost for mining is electricity, keeping those computers running and keeping them cool if they're in a hot climate. So looking at this study, I'll link to it in the notes, is the major ones that really stuck out to me was South Korea. It costs about $20,000 to mine a Bitcoin in South Korea, as opposed to Venezuela, where it costs only about $500 to mine a Bitcoin. So for those of you thinking of investing in mining, particularly in Bitcoin, location is very important. Also temperature. There has been a lot of interest in mining Bitcoin in Canada. And in Alberta, where the temperatures are cooler and they don't have to worry about necessarily keeping the computers themselves cold because it's so hot outside. The last hot topic with mining, of course, is energy consumption. And you'll hear a lot of this in the community, a lot of people complaining about how much electricity it actually takes to mine any blockchain, actually. It's very expensive. It's not on renewable energy. It depends on the location, particularly in China, where a lot of their energy isn't very clean or renewable. So there's been a lot of attack on blockchain technology in general because of its energy consumption. So we're not at the point yet where it's very efficient, but that's not to say that energy consumption of the blockchain can't become more efficient, can't become renewable in the future. It's still in its infancy and in many ways is not scalable, not just because of energy consumption, but a lot of other reasons. So that's not necessarily a reason to stop with the blockchain technology, but is definitely an issue that we're going to have to look towards in the future as blockchain technology and cryptocurrency continues to grow. The next thing I wanted to talk about is cryptocurrency ads. So about a month ago, the FBI encouraged Facebook to not have any cryptocurrency ads. When I say cryptocurrency ads, I don't mean anything about cryptocurrency in general, but ads advertising ICOs. So they want Google to do the same. They want Google to take away the advertisements for any ICOs. So what do you think about that? Should ICOs be able to pay for advertising space in Google AdWords and Facebook? Personally, I think no. We don't have ads for the euro, for people to buy the euro, and financial ads are discouraged on Facebook as well. But what I do think, ads about cryptocurrency in general, let's say for myself, if I was going to a conference or having a workshop, maybe an ad that announced that, something a little bit more educational and informative instead of buy this ICO or whatever it might be. So that's on the horizon for Google as well. Google doesn't look very excited about implementing that, but having a lot of ads about ICOs, I think is maybe not a good thing. What do you think? The next one is general regulation as well regarding crypto by governments. We've seen a lot of things in the news about regulations of governments trying to tax it, trying to say that it should be legal in China and Australia. But then we've seen the flip side where places like Germany and even the state of Arizona this week want to accept Bitcoin for people's tax payments, which is kind of cool. So it's been a mixed bag. We did see this week the FDIC chair in the U.S. And also the head of the European Banking Authority also said that it should not be regulated. that we should regulate the banks and how they use cryptocurrency, because if we regulate the general public and how they use cryptocurrency, that may stop innovation. I will note that both the chair of the FDIC and the head of the European Banking Authority are both women. Speaking of women, since yesterday was International Women's Day, there's been a lot of attention on women and women in society and gender inequality across all sorts of industries. And we're seeing that in the blockchain as well. Michael J. Casey, who is the chairman of the advisory board for CoinDesk, a very reputable news source for cryptocurrency. He's also an advisor for the MIT lab on the digital currency initiative. He came out with a book called The Truth Machine book, which is essentially about the rise of the blockchain and the future of the blockchain, that he co-published with another journalist at the Wall Street Journal. And they had a big party about it and a big panel and a discussion, and it was all a bunch of white dudes. So he basically wrote an apology article that said it's time to acknowledge / encourage women on the blockchain, and talked about a couple of women that have been very influential, because there's only a couple. So essentially what I saw this week in a variety of industries is men coming forward and saying, oops, we're not really doing the right thing. We should do the right thing. Or, hey, you're a woman. Happy Women's Day, which is not exactly the point. And I think his article is really good, although it does offer an apology, which is great. It also suggests that we need to change our behavior. And he was specifically talking about white men. But I think we all need to change our behavior. And instead of this day being a day where we just recognize women and say, women are cool, they should be part of stuff too. It's the how of how are we going to do that. It should be a day of observation. And definitely in the blockchain and cryptocurrency is a place where we need to change that. As a woman in cryptocurrency, going to conferences, it's been very difficult for me. Conferences, meetups, all of those things, I can't lie. Most of the time, because they just look at me like, what are you doing here? Are you somebody's girlfriend? Are you somebody's wife? Or are you some crypto millionaire? Or do you have a startup? As if I needed some justification other than just paying my conference ticket and being interested in and having a voice about cryptocurrency. So we're seeing a lot of that still with women in cryptocurrency. In addition, we're seeing women being very shy about cryptocurrency because it's too complicated. It's technical. I don't understand it. It can be understood, and we need to continue to encourage women to be a part of this movement because this technology is so very important. So check out this article by Michael Casey. I'm also going to include another article that talks about different behaviors, 100 different behaviors that everyone can change, not just men, but women too, changing our language and speaking up for ourselves as well. So it's something that hopefully you find helpful and interesting and a little bit funny. So I'll include that. Before I get to the shitcoin of the week, I'm just going to mention that the Venezuela coin, that was a shitcoin last week, the Petro coin, the legislature of Venezuela is moving to make that coin illegal. So they've already raised $3 billion, and now the legislature and the president seem to not be able to agree. So there is a lot of volatility there, and I still think it's a little too early for governments, especially unstable governments and unstable economies, to be jumping in on this ICO raising money initiative that seems to be so popular. The other one is the PAT coin. I don't know if any of you've noticed, but a lot of times I talk about when people ask what to invest in is to take a look at the top 20 coins. That's a good place to start. Start with Bitcoin, start with Ethereum, move your way down. It's a little safer because there's more of a network effect there. But the PAT coin is a brand new coin that is trying to rival Bitcoin in scalability, in the reward system, and trying to integrate proof of work and proof of stake together, a bunch of technical things, but in a very technical way, they're trying to rival Bitcoin. And for no reason at all other than a glitch in the coin market cap index, they appeared to be the number 3 cryptocurrency in value and market capitalization. So when you're looking at these things, if you see something just pop up and you haven't seen it there before, kind of question it. Don't jump right on, oh, it's a new thing, it must be great. Could be a glitch. And coinmarketcap.com is a place that I look to on a daily basis or whenever I need to see values. It's a good reference tool, but it can have bugs. So check on that. Okay, so the shitcoin this week is an ICO called Hamster. Yes, it's called Hamster. It has nothing to do with hamsters. What this ICO is trying to create with their project is to create a marketplace for manufacturers of niche products like electronics and gadgets and consumer goods to connect them better with consumers. So they're saying they want to be the bridge between Kickstarter and Amazon, that there's a big gap there. So I took a quick look at their white paper. They're raising money with their ICO to build the project. It's also a utility coin. You will be able to use it in their marketplace to buy things, to pay for fees, and pay for services. But with these types of ICOs, all I can see is they want to raise capital for their project. And if you dig into these white papers and you take a look at, most of them should say, if they don't, it's a red flag, but they should say how they're going to use the money. How are they going to use the capital that they raise? And this one in particular has about 30% going to the founders. And it was difficult to see exactly how much was going to go to administration and cost to actually build the infrastructure. They don't have an MVP. They don't have a proof of concept. So essentially, like most ICOs, you're just investing in an idea. A bunch of dudes just got together and say, wouldn't it be cool if we had something between Kickstarter and Amazon? Let's write a PDF about that. Let's make a video and a fancy website and see if people give us money to build it. But no proof of concept, no MVP. So essentially, they're just raising millions of dollars with an idea that we're not sure will work, or if they can implement, or if they have the right talent or experience. So that's what makes these ICOs very risky. And that's how I feel the ICO model really misses an important aspect of the VC model, and it still needs to bridge that gap. With the VC model, you need proof of concept before you pitch your startup and ask for money. And if you've got proof of concept and you haven't built anything, that's good for like 100,000 or so, but it's not good for 75 million or 100 million. So there's no hurdles, there's no barrier to entry. And again, so when you're looking at these ICOs, take a look at the white paper, see if it's just an idea. And most of them are just an idea, a lot of cool ideas. But what are the barriers to entry to just making a coin? Not much. PDF, a cool video, a website, and a developer for 24 hours to throw something on Ethereum and make your ERC token. Not so much. So Hamster Coin, I'll link to that. You guys can check out that website, see what that looks like, and kind of compare it to the other things if you're looking at ICOs as well. So that's the news roundup for this week and this week's shitcoin. Today, kind of a casual cocktail hour. I've got a Colombian Club here, a very popular beer in Colombia. And cheers to you guys. Have a great weekend and hopefully a great investment week in crypto next week. Bye.